So Pearl Davis says, Nala is speaking at TPUSA event. Conservatives are such simps, and I cannot take it. This is Nala on whatever, shortly after she converted to Christianity. So let's take a look at this.
How right is that as a father to guide your child when the Bible literally says, train up a child in the way that they should go? But you said if your daughter did, you would completely disown her.
It's called consequences. If you look at, for instance, the prodigal son had to come back home and humble themselves after they came back home, after they squandered their entire fortune. For you to say that if somebody is doing something that is horrific or satanic or something like this, that I have to allow them in my home? Do I need to allow them around my family? What do I need to do to capitulate to them, Nala, which would make me a good father?
In no way, shape, or form.
Let them experience the consequences of their own action, because that's what a good father does.
A good father completely disowns their child, as in, like, stop speaking to them. I never once said that you had to let your daughter into your home, that demonic spirit into your home. But what about praying for them, sending them Bible verses, regardless of what they believe in? That is honestly what saved me. So you disowning your kid could actually have detrimental.
Bible verses saved you? No.
What is she wearing? Where was that?
Her pantaloons.
What is this?
Yeah.
Like, what is she wearing here? This is your base trad wife, sir. Yeah. Wearing this, and now she's on here, literally wearing compression shorts, lecturing about Christian faith. Like, the gall. Where do you get the gall to do this? Here's another clip.
This is complicated. I don't see it as cut and dry. For him to bring up the prodigal son story, it's like, you're okay. Yeah, exactly, right? That's almost, it sounds like you would expect her to bring that up, right? And him saying he humbled himself, I think that's true. Of course, then the son was immediately celebrated with a slaughtered goat. The father puts a ring on his finger, and it obviously annoys his son. And if anything, the vibe here does feel like prodigal son, angry son, right? Like, hey, don't you know what they've been doing? Now, so that part, I feel like I don't agree with Andrew Wilson on that. Now, what you're bringing up now, like the idea of like, is she really changed?
Right, and like that's the whole. I think that's kind of what Andrew was saying, was that there was a clear and obvious change with the prodigal son.
There is with her
himself.
too, though, right? She openly condemns her previous lifestyle. Like, she's, in my eyes, she's not all the way yet, right? But like,
I see what you're saying, but what did she? Condemning it. What did she do? She went on a circuit tour on Michael Knowles' show, and she's going on all these shows. Like, these are rewards. These aren't like, all you have to do is go up there and you get all this notoriety and all this publicity.
Yeah,
and you
but that's
say
not
this
why.
shit.
Didn't she get married? Am I wrong?
Yeah, she did. Yep.
She did? Was it when she changed? Was that what happened? She married a guy and then she gave up that lifestyle? Like, in some ways, I don't know what we're going to do if we...
Her father's a priest, too. That's like the interesting part, is that like she still was living in this life while her while her father was kind of part of a church in a very, at a very high level, and she didn't care then. But now she's making this decision, and everybody. But now she has the fame. Now she's making the decision, and now it's putting her fast track to being a TPUSA, woman leadership summit.
Do you remember Roosh V?
Yes.
Okay, right. He wrote that book Bang, that was really popular. Yeah. And I feel like is relevant because he's like the male side, right? He kind of had before he was Tate before Tate, right? He kind of led the whole pickup artistry kind of movement. He would go around and talk at men's bars about like how to basically manipulate women into sleeping with him, and then he went through some serious personal tragedies. I think both his mother and his sister died, and he really had an inner conversion. And now he's a monk, right? He disappeared from public life.
Yeah.
But there was a period between those two where he gave speeches about how he changed, right? How he was living a certain way, and he condemned it, tried to distance himself from that, and then eventually just delete his like I don't think he does anything now, and then just delete his channel and now leads a private life. And I think maybe that's ideal, because one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to encourage people to think
Not.
I can sin and then still come back, right? And
Yeah.
it'll be okay in the end. I'll sin for a while and then I'll get away with it, right? So you
Yeah.
don't want to encourage that, but you also don't want to discourage people who feel like there is no way, if they're in that situation and they are sinning, to feel like there's no way to repent, because it's
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
then I'm
Yeah.
just going to be condemned I'm just going to live like the life of a pariah for the rest of my life. And so it's a balance between those two. To me, this Nala thing, it's unclear where we're at here. Like, it may be that in 10 years she is completely living a private life. I actually think that's pretty likely. But she might have 3 years. This is what, 2024. Like, she might have 3 years of going around talking about how she's no longer a porn star or whatever, and then
So did Roosh make a change and say I'm done, and then within the following few months, or let's say year, he was on the circuit?
yeah, I think so. Because
I don't remember that.
he sold books, right? And I think at some point he took down, you couldn't buy, because his books I think are actually valuable now, because he had a bunch of books and you can't get them anymore because he stopped selling them. He felt like that they were contributing to sinful lifestyles. Um, but he did. I mean, I know, I've listened to him speak. He was going around speaking, and he had a channel on Cozy. I know. I think he had a YouTube channel. He would post fairly regularly on, talking about his experiences, and in some ways benefiting from the wisdom that he gained through illicit means. And
I see what you're saying. But
sharing it. I don't know what to
It
say.
can't. It cannot be though. We do have to be on guard, because there are going to be people who, and we just watched that in our last stream with the prosperity gospel. I mean, there's going to be people who are going to try and take advantage of this shit, and that's one of the things I tend to lean more in the camp of, she's looking for attention, and if this can get her, if she can move, if in her mind she can move away from the OnlyFans, get into the Christian circle, conservative circle, and still continue that momentum, then she'll do it.
Right.
Because really, she hasn't given away any of the money. She made millions on OnlyFans. Has she given any of that away? It's not like she's like, this is dirty money, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm literally going to repent and be done. It's like, it seemed like it was like that, where she goes, I'm Christian now, and now I'm on a circuit doing all this stuff, all these high profile people, and it's like, that just seems weird. But then also at the same time, she's doing, I mean, did Roosh do anything like this? Did he go and debate people and fight them on Christianity?
He did.
You might have to link me that, because I don't know what.
Yeah, Casey. I mean, he had a YouTube channel, I think, for at least a year afterward, and he would post videos. The thing is, though, we would love everyone who converts to have a total conversion in a day, but that is just not how it goes. Usually, people
No, I'm not
go
saying
through a
that.
process, right? But what we may be witnessing is that intermediate step. What would an intermediate step look like? She's not completely pure in her motives, right? I agree. I think a lot of it was she probably, I think she was married, but I'm not sure. Like, I thought there was probably a guy involved who didn't like it. And so in some ways she's not even doing it because she thinks it's right. Like, but that's how we all grow in our faith, is that we start with kind of impure, mixed motives. We get a little bit like, am I thinking what she's doing now is worse than what she did before? No, I mean, that would be really a strange thing to say, I think. But her motives are still impure. This is like almost exactly what you would expect. As she ideally she grows in grace and purifies her motives, and then maybe she comes to the conclusion, yeah, this isn't wrong. Maybe she does give the money away. That's a complicated one, though, because we do know, right, the betrayers of Christ did that. In some ways, I see that as like that was the final insult, is that even after they sold him, they didn't even keep the money, right? Judas didn't even keep the money, he threw it back. Yeah. And it's like, hey, if you sell me out someday, man,
keep that shit.
Buy yourself something nice, right? If you repent after and you go, I'm holding the value of Richard right here, right? Like, at least buy yourself something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a complicated thing,
but I don't think it's. Do you think it's totally wrong for people to be, while she's in this liminal state, to be kind of critical, overly critical of her?
Not necessarily. It's risky. I would definitely condone some criticality. Overly critical, though, there are a lot of seeming cautions against that in the scriptures. right?
And I would.
He was with Allison, yeah,
yes,
and
I would agree with that. But like, so yes, I understand. There's nuance to. It's not all just you just throw her to the wayside and say, "Screw you, you're forever marked and with sin, and you can never be." I agree with that. You shouldn't do that, but. I do think that there's nothing wrong with her if she's in this intermediate stage where it's like people should be questioning whether or not this is legit, because she said some pretty I think we might see in this clip where it's like she has said stuff about how she gets off on lying, how she gets off on taking advantage of people, like this type of stuff where you have to be like, okay, are we going to be suckers? I don't know. Well, let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
As a viral creator I went on so many podcasts because I knew the only way to grow my was to be viral, and it's such an oversaturated platform right now, and I've been on it for like 5.5 years. So everything I've said on podcasts is complete clickbait. I did it to go viral to then make money, and it worked. I said whatever I needed to because I understand the male brain, and I needed to make money, and I was like,
wait,
I
so
got taken down.
You lied about everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
is she saying she was never on OnlyFans? Is that what she's saying?
No, she was on OnlyFans. You can go and see her clips.
Yeah. So what she's right, but what she's saying now, she's saying
she's saying that all the stuff she talked about. I'm assuming this is what she's saying. Her personal life, things that are going on, things about how she was acting, the way she was coming off was all a lie to just try and get guys to go to their OnlyFans. But I don't think it's totally wrong, and I don't think that it would be totally wrong for people to criticize Roosh at that time either, when he quickly was like, oh. I don't think that would be wrong either. I don't quite remember that whole situation. That was maybe a little before my time, but I know you're an old head. I know your unk status, so you remember that. But
well, and there's this idea of like, the hand of mercy and the hand of justice, right?
Yeah.
And I've often read the verse in Scripture about do not let, I think, is it your left hand know what your right hand's doing? Is that right? That like it's good that when people like this come, there are some people in the church who welcome them, no questions asked, right? We need
whatever it is.
We need that mercy because they may need those encounters to even get in the door, right? I also think it's good that you have those people that are cynical and are weighing and are judging and are saying, are these people just taking advantage of those merciful people?
You kind of need that balance, what you're saying,
Yes, and that perhaps I should check it to make sure I'm not getting it totally backward. I think that the left hand, the hand of like justice and harshness, shouldn't know what the merciful hands do, right? Like it's better for them just to not know because they're going to say, no, you're giving too much, you're being too generous, you're being too merciful.
Justice is being too tyrannical, where mercy should have kind of its domain, right? Is what you're saying?
Well, and that it's just bad, like it just makes them angry, and that it
can turn people away
not to know. Yeah, well, it's just better for them not to know. The merciful ones, they can know about the just people, the people hazing them. They don't really care. It doesn't really.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the justice part
let me check and make sure that's right.
Could be over tyrannical and not understand the merciful aspect, but the mercy should have its own flourishing, right? It should flourish in its own way. I can agree with that.
And I just checked, it is left hand. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. So.
We got Skeletor here saying, am I the only person who doesn't care if Nala is speaking? She's got a great testimony and gives hope to women in her former profession that they can get out. That is true. I do agree with that. You do need a kind of an image of, you can do this too. If you're doing this thing, you can also come out of it unscathed, or not unscathed, but you can come out of it and come to a better place. I'd have a problem if she was currently doing OnlyFans, but she isn't. And then Rachel Wilson here, Andrew's lovely wife, posts this Steven Crowder clip.
We've already found some pretty significant lies since the conversion, immediately. Here she is telling Rachel Wilson on that podcast that she's never started a ministry.
How does church history make you saved? How does church history make you saved?
You quit OF and started a ministry, and now you're out here teaching people.
I never started a ministry. I never started a ministry.
Then why are you on here correcting people about theology?
What, your husband?
Don't know the first thing about
your husband who's calling me names? You're mad at me for correcting your husband who's calling me names and saying I'm not a Christian?
That also is not, he was saying that you shouldn't be defending the prostitution as permissible by saying it's not prostitution. So, okay, I've never started a ministry. Except She literally sells you courses right now for 15. The Anointed Pathway.
Oh boy, is that a ministry or is that a business?
Yeah,
the Anointed Pathway, founded by Nala Ray and Jordan Giordano. This ministry is dedicated to helping men and women break free from what holds them back, whether it's anxiety, addiction, shame, fear, stress. So it doesn't even have to do, or a struggle with love. Like, it doesn't even have to do with the, the OnlyFans thing.
Okay, this is pretty.
Through biblical truth, spiritual growth, and practical tools. So $15 a month. This is like on part. To me, this looks like on part of the prosperity gospel shit. It's just a little bit different. Yeah. It's just like they tweaked it a little bit. It's just some nonsense. Has nothing to do with, I don't know.
15, The Anointed Pathway.
Oh boy,
is that a ministry or is that a business?
Yeah, for $15 to $50 a month. Gotta keep those monthly subscriptions coming in.
Can I just read the
nice
words?
Model.
Yeah, read the words.
Founded by Nala Ray and Jordan Giordano, this ministry. I mean, did you start it this year?
So hold on a second. I lied to get ahead. I lied to trick, because guys are using a trick. I lied. Yeah, okay. Are you lying now? No, I've never started a ministry. On your website, hey, look at our ministry. You can join it for $15 to $50 a month. And TPUSA says, lead our young women, sweetheart.
Is it brand new? Because that video is from November. Were you planning to start a ministry?
She immediately started selling merch.
Yeah,
it's like,
no, she said that, and then she got the idea, and she goes, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should start a ministry.
Exactly.
The moment she became a Christian, profit. Profit off sex, profit off Christians.
The moment, right? It does seem kind of grifty. Come on, you can't deny.
Yeah, this is the tricky thing. So if you're on the 7th layer of hell or something, like you're on step 7, no matter what, if you take a step, you're either on 6 or 8. And my impression was she was on 6, but seeing this could be 8. Because what is worse? Well, what is worse than selling sex is selling religion is probably worse than selling
It's pretty
sex.
bad, bro.
And that might be the next step down.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard for me to evaluate. Yeah, because those aren't like completely exorbitant, but it definitely has a bad vibe,
grifty feel to it. Let's agree on one thing. Nala Ray is using God as clickbait. Full stop. Again, maybe. Incontrovertible proof. Her baptism was posted on December 23. And Reclaim Your Ex reported New Year's Eve 24, Nala Ray bragging about being the Ahego queen and, quote, everything that I do blows up. I'm exploiting everything. Nala now exploits her baptism as clickbait to show how it washes away the sins of cheating and porn. Using God to chase worldly pursuits like fame is what's most upsetting to me. So we're going to take a look at this clip. This was January. So this is the New Year's 2024 post. So like a month after, she says. It's recent. I could see what you're saying is that maybe it takes some time, and she's just still in that mindset, but
and those neural pathways, like just when you started playing that, it looks like she's in this sort of like excited like character, which like she's just might take time for that to fade out of where she because like it's New Year's Eve, she's in that excited mode, and then all of a sudden something slips out that's kind of from her old sexual stuff, and it's like I don't know that necessarily means that she's not in the process of conversion.
So yeah, this was December 18, 2023. Okay, let's see if this is actually a valid baptism. Alexandra.
Yeah, I know. That's why I need to hear what he says.
They didn't say anything. There's music over it. And this is 1/6. So this is about what is that? 12, 13. This is 19 days after her baptism.
Above every name, the holy, majestic.
Is this one of those churches we saw in the last prosperity gospel video?
That's a big church.
It's like Joel Osteen's church. What are they pointing at?
I cheat all the time.
Are you a cheater?
Yeah.
March 3rd.
Repetitively, unfortunately.
Okay. 1 million views. 1 million views, people.
Wait, your biggest fantasy is
1 million and one. Right?
Not
You
even
cheat.
my biggest. It's like one of my fantasies.
And she just spams this fucking clip, dude. I'm sticking by it. You know what? You can have this, Mercy. I'm going to be the critical. I'm going to be the left hand. I'm going to be the left hand. You can be the right hand. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I'm going to sit on the side that this is all grift. We'll see. Maybe the Mercy, maybe grace of God comes in and changes her. I don't know. But man, this is cringe. It seems like a grift. So this is January 7th. For her baptism was the 18th of December. Oh no, this is December 31st, my bad. What? Okay, all right. I think we've seen enough. So she didn't mention anything about Christianity or conversion at all, right?
Yeah, but just a second ago, you're mad that she's capitalizing on that, and now she doesn't mention it, and you hold that against her too, right?
No, but I'm saying that what I'm saying is that if she's truly trying to reform herself, when a woman asks her just a week prior she got baptized, you think, even if what you're saying is true and she's kind of at the tail end of her sin and maybe at the tail beginning of her reforming her ways, you think at the very least she would say, I'm just so passionate and I'm trying to transform my life to be better for Jesus Christ, to live for Jesus, all this stuff. You think you would hear something, anything? No, she brings up Japanese. Like, I don't know. That to me just seems like, okay.
My question is, why is she leading anybody? Of course you can forgive someone. Of course you can welcome someone. Hey, yeah, welcome to the classroom. You can't teach. Hey, welcome to the church. You can't get on the podium. Hey, welcome as a guest on this show. You're not the host. Why is this a hard concept to understand? And again, I'm going to ask you, what harm could possibly come from telling someone like this, a new convert who at best has no understanding of the faith, at worst is subverting it to sell a course that could also very likely be apostasy? What harm could possibly come from the approach of, great, welcome, be quiet, listen, learn, and submit yourself to the authority of people here who've been doing this for a very long time, and we hope that you're with us for years to come. What harm could possibly come from that? What net good can possibly come from giving someone who has made all of their fortune off of sex work, told you that she will lie to you, and is now selling you new courses? What good can possibly come from giving her a podium to lead other people? Because they can definitely be led astray.
I tend to be more on that side. You want to take the more.
That I agree with, but that says more about TPUSA than it does about her. Because there are a lot of people on that roster that have no business.
Yeah.
Like I don't know them, but like Riley Gaines is like, so you went up against a trans athlete? Like, how does that make you a speaker, right?
Yeah, it must be a thin.
That's not something you did. That's something that happened to you,
It must
right?
be a thin crowd out there for women leaders, man. They're not sending their best. That's pretty rough. I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think I think TPUSA is retarded for rolling with it, but I don't know if she's necessarily. I don't think that just to say that they're retarded doesn't mean that what she's doing might be a total grift. So, I don't know.
Yeah.